Hey folks, welcome. Riva here once again. Welcome back to another video, another review. Hope you all enjoyed my review slash epic rant on Electra, starring Jennifer Garner. Terrible film. If you want to know more of my thoughts on the film, just go check out the review. And guys, just keep on letting you know that the one that has the mask profile picture, this is my new YouTube channel. So yeah, and also pay attention to my community posts. Uh, Remember, sure hit the bell to let you know that when I upload a video. And also, you can share my videos on Facebook, Instagram, or your Facebook page or your Facebook story. I appreciate the share as always. It really helps if you even share a review on your Facebook page or timeline or whatever you want to call it. I do appreciate that. But anyway, speaking of The Mask, I am now reviewing the 2005 superhero comedy film directed by Lawrence Gutterman that is a standalone sequel to this classic movie, which I'm going to say happy 30th anniversary to The Mask. I watched it when I was in Florida last month, toward the mid of August or whatever, when I was on Florida vacation. And this is still a classic. Jim Carrey is fantastic. I love Milo. Milo's a great dog. Yeah, has her, and I love Cameron Diaz, still beautiful, gorgeous in this movie. Uh, Peter Green, Peter Richard, were great cast. Peter Green was great as the villain to Ren Tyrell. Yeah, great villains in here. Amy Eschbach, Richard, the late Richard Jennings was great. Classic movie, so hilarious, so funny, such a good story. It has some good heart to it and good chemistry between two people that I bought their love. I bought them being in love. Jim Carrey and Cameron Diaz did a fantastic job with their roles, and you didn't need a sequel to this. If you're going to have a sequel, you should have had Jim Carrey and Cameron Diaz came back. I'd rather have that, you know, to see where Stanley and Tina will be after the first movie. That'd be more interesting than this. Sorry, I'm asking more down softly. Instead, you get this. Yeah, so almost 11 years. Let me see. Yeah, pretty much 11 years as when this one takes place, and we get Son of the Mask. Yeah, we get the piece of shit Son of the Mask. This sequel is terrible. It's one of the worst movies ever made. Probably one of the worst superhero films. It's a superhero comedy, so yeah, technically. Don't know why. All they do is have to save the baby at the end of the movie. Yeah, this film was just awful. Everything that was great about the mask, the story, the special effects, beautiful. Okay, better now. Everything you loved about it, but beautiful Cameron Diaz, great cast in there, good lines of dialogue, a lot of good humor, especially Jim Carrey, the good makeup he has. Yeah, this film completely ruins that on every level, aspects of what this movie did great. This film ruins it completely, 100 times, a million times over. Yeah, this movie took the mask and shot it in the back of the head. That's what it did. They took the mask, shot it in the back of the head, back to an alley and shot it. You know, and I feel sorry for people who had to see this in theaters. Thankfully, it bombed though. Hopefully, some people walked out of theaters. But anyway, let's get this on the mask, shall we? I'll admit, I used to like this film as a guilty pleasure. Maybe I did like it, but I don't know what was wrong with me. Maybe my head was just not loose screwed on right. But I apologize for that. I should have never let this one as a guilty pleasure. I feel guilty for even liking it, for even saying that. You know, you want to see the superior version? Just watch The Mask with Jim Carrey. For anyway, so The Mask though, when it did come out with Jim Carrey, it was a big hit. It made 351 on a $23 million budget, $18 million budget. It made about $351.6 million wide. New Line Cinema wanted to make a sequel right away, but Jim Carrey, he did after the year after he did The Mask, he did the sequel, Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls, which I love that movie. Um, yeah, Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls, he did that, but Jim Carrey hates that movie, hated doing that movie, and I'm sure they did ask Jim Carrey to make this movie to make a sequel, and Jim Carrey said no. Yeah, or I'll read more about it for what I'm saying, but I believe Jim Carrey probably said no. He has other sequels to his movies, There was Ace Ventura Jr., which I saw a little bit of that movie, didn't care for it. I saw Dumb and Dumber when Harry Met Lloyd. I don't remember caring for that. Um, there's one funny scene in that movie, but that movie wasn't good. Dumb and Dumber 2 is awful as well. Dumb and Dumber 2, this is even worse than Dumb and Dumber 2, but they're both terrible films in my opinion. The only best sequel from any of his movies was Ace Ventura When Nature Calls, in my opinion. That was the best sequel to ever come out of his movies. Yeah. But after the release of The Mask, Nintendo Power announced that Jim Carrey will be returning in a sequel called The Mask 2. The Mask magazine held a contest where the first prize would be awarded a walk-on role in the film. Sorry, I'm just thirsty. Chuck Russell, who directed the original film, who directed the original movie, expressed interest in the Mask sequel in his 1996 Laserdisc commentary. He was hoping Carrey would come back as our character along with Amy Ashbeck, who played Porter Peggy Brant in the original, even though she died. But Russell decided to cut scenes where Peggy dies and leave the character open for the sequel. In 1995 Barbara Walters special, Carrey revealed that he was offered $10 million to star in The Mask 2. Carrey turned it down because his experience on Ace Ventura: When She Calls convinced him that responding to a character he had previously played offered him challenges as an actor. Well, he's come back for Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and that was a lot more fun than this movie. Due to Carrey declining to spread his role, the project never came to see the light of day, I guess. And the concept for the sequel was completely changed. The winner of the failed contest was given $5,000. Other prizes were issued for an apology in the final issue of Nintendo Power in 2012. People should have got $5,000 back in the day when in 2005, if they had to see this film in theater, you should have gave them a lot more money, or heck, more good popcorn, good little snacks, just to apologize. In 2001, it was reported that Lance Kanish was asked by New Line Cinema to do the script for a sequel to The Mask, addressing the differences between the sequel and the original film. Director Lawrence Gutterman compared to the differences between Alien and Alien, saying that Son of the Mask is a completely different story. Yeah, it is, but it's a terrible story. Jack Black and Ryan Reynolds were offered for the role of Tim Avery, but both turned it down. They probably read the script and said, "Nope, we ain't wasting our time. I'm not going to kill my, thank God they didn't, because it probably would have killed their careers, to be honest." Ben Stein reprised his role. The only thing you get from the show, you get Ben Stein, who reprised his role as Dr. Arthur Newman. You also have Randy Edelman, who did the music score for the first movie, does the music score for this film too. We establishes a relationship between this Mask and its creator, Loki. He's the only actor to appear in both films, as well as the Mask cartoon series. I've never seen the anime series from the Mask, the animated, but after watching this movie, I definitely want to watch the anime series someday. Gotta give that a chance. The dog's name Otis connects with the dog from the original film in common with Milo, as a reference to the adventures of Milo and Otis. The name of the Avery family pays homage to Tex Avery, as is present in the film's protagonist Tim Avery, who wants to be a cartoonist. The film was shot at Fox Studios Australia. There is behind the scenes of the movie a little bit, the deleted scenes and stuff. Uh, Basically, it was hard for them to, because they had to work with the baby. The actress that played the baby would cry sometimes on scene, or the dog would act up, so they had to do different takes. So it wasn't easy making this movie, but they trained the dog. I do feel bad for the dog and the little baby here having to do this movie. They didn't know any better. You know, they were just forced on to do this movie. Prince Photography began filming on August 18, 2003, and Industrial Light and Magic ILM, who did the special effects, the CGI for the first movie, do it for this movie too. And Tippett Studio created the visual effects. In contrast to the first film, which was inspired by the works of Tex Avery, the animated Son of the Mask drew from the style of Chuck Jones. ILM shared technology developed from the computer generator and Let Me Take a Series of Unfortunate Events, which also starred Jim Carrey, by the way, came out a year before this. That's a better film than this. This film had a budget of $84 million. New Line Cinema paid $20 million of that North American distribution rights, while international partners paid the rest. As it was expected to do well, home media release. In 2021, David Kennedy released a series of in-depth videos on his YouTube channel about his experience making the film. He was offered the lead role after a couple of other projects he was made to make with Warner Brothers that did not go into production. He had intentionally turned down the offer to star due to scheduling conflicts with the television series The Jamie Kennedy Experiment. Both the studio and network managed to work his schedule, and he was signed. However, Kennedy was once again hesitant due to Tim only having misled time as the mask, and considered instead of playing the role of Rogie, due to the nature of the character. A chance encounter with Jim Carrey convinced him to take the role, as well as talks with the director and producers who pitched the film as a romantic comedy of a simple man going through relatable circumstances, a newly married man and his son's father. Kennedy admitted that he was also impressed with the special effects, but that the film will at least succeed in that aspect. Kennedy stated that the film was exhausting to do, primarily due to the Falconator twins and the bear, the dog's constant maintenance. This combined with the heavy deadline, constant rewrites, made it difficult to determine how the film would turn out. The original cut was roughly 2 hours long. Only went through minor changes before getting screened for executives. Kennedy claimed that this version was much more accessible, had scopes and tones, praising Gutterman's attention to detail. However, the film was deemed not funny and was demanded to have a 38-minute cut from the film. This resulted in what Kennedy described as "a clusterfuck," with numerous effects-based scenes added that focus on Alvy and Otis. Yeah. The film did have a video game, mobile video game or whatever. I guess where you can play as baby Alvy. And I guess in the game you play as Alvy and all that. So I don't know, I never played the game. I just wanted to bring it up, mention it. Yeah, the video game is based on the movie same name. Was released on February 10, 2005. Couple days, about a good couple days before the movie was released, I guess. For the canceled sequel and the possibility of a third film, Richard stated, "We've been talking about reviving the mask, both the film and the comics. We had a couple of false starts. Reception: the film earned back $59.9 million on an $84 million or $100 million budget, but it became a box office bomb. The you know One critic said, "Over frantically, painfully unfunny, and it's really missing the presence of Jim Carrey." The site ranked the film 65th in the worst reviewed films of the 2000s. The film has a score of 20 out of 100 based on 26 critics. And his review stated, "In the 5 years I've been co-hosting this show with Roger Ebert at the time, it was Ebert and Robert, said on the show, this is the closest I've ever come to walking out halfway through the film. And now that I took that back on, now I look back on the experience, I wish I had." Roger Ebert gave the film 1 stars and says, "We basically have here a license for the filmmakers do whatever they want to do with the special effects, while the plot, like Coyote, keeps running into the wall." He led it into the fifth worst film of 2005. Ebert and Robert gave the film 2 thumbs down, which I agree with that. This movie is dumb and loud, which some kids will confuse entertaining, but others would just find it overwhelming. Jim King doing well as Magical Mask, words dazzling display of computer animated effects. The poor reception of the mask inspired King to co-create the documentary film Heckler. It's a mixture of hecklers and professional critics. So, yeah, it did get Worst Movie of the Year award. It won that. It won an award for Best Worst Prequel or Sequel, and Worst Actor. Jim Kennedy won, which he deserved. Randy Elman, sorry you had that coming, man. Couldn't have done it unless you're just doing it for the paycheck. Worst on-screen couple, James Kennedy. If anyone forced to start with him. Worst sequel won. Fowley Fullest Family Movie won. So they get some Razzies awards, which it deserved. Yeah. For the cast, you have Jamie Kennedy as Tim Avery, The Mask. Now, I don't completely hate this guy's an actor. I did like Malibu's Most Wanted, and he's in Scream. I liked him in Scream 1 and Scream 2 as Randy in that movie. I liked him in Enemy of the State. I haven't seen Bowfinger. Mask Key was a big movie. I'm sure there's better movies than this. But he was in some of the Tremors sequels, I think. I think it was Tremors 5 and 6. Yeah, but Scream 1 and 2, those are the best movies I think he's done. And Malibu's Most Wanted. Enemy of the State, mm, he did a cameo in Scream 3. That cameo is better than anything he does in this movie. And Scream 3 is a better movie than this. Even in Tremors 5 and 6, and yeah, and Scream 20, he just had a ghost cameo in that movie, but honestly, his career, I think, went downhill. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't attack Jamie Kennedy personally. Like I said, when he is a good director, like he worked with Craven, so he can, given, a good script, a good story, Jamie Kennedy can really pull off a good role. Malibu's Most Wanted, he's funny in that movie. But in this movie, he's just wasting time. Alan Cumming plays Loki. Tom Hiddleston's better, by the way. I'm not really a fan of Alan Cumming as an actor. I didn't care for him in Spy Kids. Flintstones of Eva Reyes, where he played Zoo. The only role I ever liked that he's done was X2 X-Men United, where he played Nightcrawler. Probably that. Now I think about it. Any other movie, I'm not big on him. The only one is X2 X-Men United. Trilla Howard as Tanya, Ted's wife. She was in a Jim Carrey movie, actually. She was in Me, Myself, and Irene. She was also in a film called Dirty Work. She was in some TV shows as well, but I guess she just did, in 2016, she did a voice of Polar Bear in a movie called Simon Says the Climate. So I guess this movie killed her career too. Cal Penn as George. Cal Penn, you should know him for the Harold and Kumar movies. I've only seen the first two, which are funny movies. And he was also in another superhero movie. The year after this, he was one of Lex Luthor's minions in Superman Returns. He was in Do Worth on a Party, Malibu's Most Wanted. So he's worked with Jamie Kennedy before. He was in Deck the Halls. And that, yeah, I think that was too. Yeah, that was not a good movie either. Stephen Wright as Daniel Moss. Oh, this guy did a voice for the Emo G movie, and I heard that movie wasn't good. Apparently, must have killed his career too. Bob Hoskins, late Bob Hoskins Zoden. Now, Bob Hoskins, I know he hated Super Mario Brothers movie. Say what you will about that movie. That movie is a masterpiece compared to this. Yes, I say that for real. And Bob Hoskins would get drunk on set. I remember somebody, which I Google was telling me that. Well, he should have got drunk doing this movie because to me, Bob Hoskins, his worst movie is not Super Mario Brothers that he ever did. The worst movie he ever did was this. You know, yeah, and of course he was in Hook as Mr. Smee. Hook is a better movie than this. Yeah, it might have a bit of longer length of runtime, but it's got a better story. And you got great performances by Robin Williams and Dustin Hoffman. That movie had heart to it. Find your inner child. This movie doesn't help you. This movie would just ruin your childhood. Yeah. And Ben Stein comes back as Dr. Arthur Newman. I think he was in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. If you remember Bueller. Yeah, better movie by the way. Yeah. And his scene with Jim Carrey was funnier than anything in this film. Margaret Sabas as Betty. Can't say her name right. Sandy Whitten as Chris. Rebecca Macy. Ryan Johnson, Victoria Slane, Peter Flood. I'm just naming the cast. People and Amanda Smythe. Ryan and Lemmy Falconer as Albie. Joyce Pertz, Mona Marshall, and Mary Maitland Mauser. Mary Maitland Mauser. Oh my gosh, that's Samantha LaRusso from Cobra Kai. Okay, she did the voice for Albie in this movie. Thank God she went on to be in Cobra Kai. She went on to do a better something. Neil Ross provides a voice, Albie's deep voice. Yeah, but Mary Mauser, I'm surprised she was in here. And for Bear the Dog, as Otis, Bill Farmer and Richard Stephen Hudson do the vocal voices for Otis. Bill Farmer, the voice of Goofy himself. This guy's worked in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Zero, Power Rangers Turbo. Crap, sorry. Yeah. But anyway, that's the cast of the film. It was directed by Lawrence Gutterman. Let's see if he does any movie over this. Well, he directed Cats and Dogs. And I like Cats and Dogs, actually. I'm not going to lie. I kind of grew up watching that movie a lot more than. I didn't grow up watching Son of the Mess, but I kind of grew up watching that movie. I have nostalgia for it. It's not a perfect movie. Is it all that good? No, but I could have fun with it. But after Son of the Mask, he's never made another movie. I guess he's just did television work and worked on some other movies, but he's never directed again. I guess because I think this movie truly killed a lot of people's careers that worked on it. Written by Lance Gusting. I don't know what other movies he's done. Probably nothing. It's produced by Aaron Huckins and Scott Roof, funny name. Uh, let's see. He was original films like the Bill and Ted movies, Jumanji, the Robin Williams one, Kazim. I think that stars Shaquille O'Neal. What James McCon? Robin Williams film. And after Son of the Mess, he also produced Sadora Space Adventure. I like Sadora. Better movie than this. And Bill and Ted Face the Music. Cinematography by Greg Gardner. The singing of the movies he's worked. Men in Black 2. He was a cinematographer in that movie, Men in Black 2. What about the first one? No, just Men in Black 2. Elf. Herbie Fully Loaded. I watched that film last night, yesterday actually. It was a good movie still. Race to Witch Mountain, which stars Dwayne The Rock Johnson. It's edited by Malcolm Campbell, John DeLego, Deborah Neil Fisher. You just got three editors on the film. Music is by Randy Elman, like I said, who did the music score for this movie. He did music scores for films like Twin. He did the music score for this movie too, and Twins, Ghostbusters 2, Kindergarten Cop. So he's worked with the late Ivan Ryman too. Drop Dead Fred, Beethoven, uh, Distinguished Gentleman. Excuse me, I just had a sneeze. Sorry, like Will Smith says, I'm just allergic to bullshit. I feel like this movie is. Anyway, Gettysburg, Angels in the Outfield, love that movie. Indian in the Cupboard, Dragonheart, Daylight, and XX, which I yeah is a movie action movie starring Vin Diesel. He also did some of the music for Anaconda, 6 Days, 7 Nights, another superhero film, Underdog, maybe. I worked with somebody on that. Backdraft 2, The Boy Next Door. Alright, production company is Radar Pictures, Dark Horse Entertainment, distributed by New Line Cinema, Warner Brother Pictures in Germany. It was released February 18th, 2005 in the United States and March 10th, 2005 in Germany. It's 94 minutes long. Well, technically, I would say. Oh, 86 minutes says on here. It does feel like 86 minutes, I would say. Yeah, it's a short movie. The budget, it's $84 million. At the budget was like $8,400 to make the movie. And at the box office, it made $59.9 million worldwide. So it was a flop. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like I said, the film was short. Yeah. Seems you like you see that terrible makeup on it. Yeah. On his face. And it's just by the mask. Yeah. Better movie, by the way. Hmm. Okay, well, let's get into the plot synopsis of what this movie's about. I don't know, I'm 23 minutes in. I'm sorry. But anyway, the plot synopsis of what Son of the Mask is about is that a cartoonist and family man, Tim Avery, played by Jamie Kennedy, lives a peaceful existence with his wife Tanya, Trailer Howard, as well as their infant son and dog. When the curious canine finds the mask and mysterious properties, both dog and baby create chaos with his powers, while Tim and Tanya try to contain the damage. Well, pretty much what happens is Loki, Loki here, played by Alan Cumming, he's trying to find his mask. Otis finds the mask, and Tim puts it on, gets his wife pregnant, and she has Alvy, and Alvy has this power. She goes on vacation, and throughout the movie, he's also dealing with his father Odin, played by Bob Hoskins, and the movie's just entire chaos and just yeah, it's just terrible to sit through the whole film. And they gotta eventually Loki kidnaps the baby to get the mask, and Tim and Tanya gotta save the baby and save the day, I guess, and save baby, and so they can live happily ever after as a family. Yada yada yada. Okay, well, that's the plot in a nutshell for you. Yeah, There is a bit of wild. This film was just wild and crazy, and not in a good way. Yeah, more like it will irritate your brain cells death. You're gonna feel like Jim Carrey in Batman Forever. That's how it feels. Remember when Batman destroys the Riddler's machine and it sucks it up in his head. And it's like bummer. Yeah, yeah. That's what this movie does to your brain cells. But anyway, so let's get to some of the mask, shall we? Some of the mask. Here we go. So the film starts off 11 years after the first film, an opening. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, Randy Elman, despite me, I hate saying it, some music is a little decent. I'll admit that. It's Randy Elman. The man can make a good. Come on, he can make a good film score. But the problem is, it's just a terrible film. You have Ben Stein, who's Dr. Arthur Newman. He's given toward this Norse mythology that's in Edge City. Loki is there, you know, kind of in, dressed in his costume, just wearing a hat. These people are making fun of him. And they talk about Loki that he was got a mischief Thor, Odin himself, and he's like, this is the mask. You know, that legend has it, those that wear the mask gain the power of Loki himself. Is that true? And a guy like this, Vincent's like, no, if it was, I'd be wearing it myself. And Loki almost touches, he's like, sir, please don't touch the display. And they make fun of him, and he becomes this. Well, I don't have a picture of it, but he becomes like a green face monster. He's like, oh my god, don't you forget it. He's like, where's the mask? This is a fake. Yeah, but it's a good fake. Sorry, let me replace it. Grabs Ben Stein's face. Ben's like, hello, find my body. Cops start shooting. He like shoots them with the cartoony fingers. This movie is just a big cartoon. The thing is about the mask and made brilliant cartoon is that Stanley Ipkiss was a loner, a shy guy, he was a nice guy, but people pushed him over. And you cared about Stanley. You wanted him to find the right woman, the right girl. You wanted Stanley to be happy. You wished happiness for him. And he was just sad, And the movie has you feeling for him. I don't feel for anybody in this damn movie. Yeah. But the thing is, though, Stanley loves watching cartoons, and when he becomes the mask, it's like he can bend reality a little bit and make the world like a cartoon for him. But this movie is just a giant piece of crap cartoon, trying to rip off all the cartoons. It just does it terribly. But anyway, he shoots at the cops, in the cartoony way. He's like, "Where's my mask?" In the opening, Otis grabs the mask from the ocean because I guess the water in this river, I guess it's been draining all the way down since Stanley and Tina threw it in the river. Technically, like, come on, 11 years, no way. Somebody would have found that mask eventually. Yeah, then you meet Tim Avery, and his wife, Trailer Howard. They talk about having a baby. She's like, well, when you gonna have you do for yourself? He has this nightmare of her giving like maybe birth to like 15 babies, and they shove it in his face, and these babies, they got like, I'm not kidding you, they got fangs. This will give your child nightmares. Do not let your children. If anybody out there I knew went to school when you're watching this video and you got children, don't let them watch this movie. You're gonna give them nightmares if you do that. And he's like, okay, Tim, that was flat out embarrassing. And they do the joke of, who's the fish? Who's the fish? It's like, Tanya, I don't want to baby right now. I was like, why? Why not? Why not now? Because. And Otis brings him the mask. He plays with Otis. He's making out with a dog. And apparently he can understand the all too the scenes of Tim and Otis talking together over the dog, but somebody he can understand the dog. Don't know how. And Tim says that he would like to have a baby one day, but he's embarrassed because at his work he's a cartoonist. He works in this building at this animation company, but he's like a turtle, and the way this turtle looks is creepy. Like I've seen better looking characters in Disneyland than this. This would just scare your children. Like, if funny's being funny, oh, we'll be right. Then he tries to talk to Kelpin, who's his friend there. Goes up to Stephen Wright to tell him about his animation ideas. And they got a Halloween party going on. And this guy named Chad there, who's like the most popular guy in the company, makes fun of him. Meanwhile, Odin yells out for Loki. Loki's on this beach, just relaxing. And he's like, now find, you're a god. Like, I don't like, now find that mask. Right up a can of lightning on you. Believes that the mask is cartoon, first day that he created that thing. Tim tells her she wants to cheer up by drawing some cartoons up for her. They share a kiss right at the party. Well, before the party, we'll have a little party of our own, starting with him. He gets the mask, thinking it's lame. He puts it on, and this is when you get the way his face looks like in the movie. Yeah, you see that terrible makeup there? Yeah, and creepy makeup. It's awful makeup. Yeah, like I said, Jim Carrey looked a lot better in the makeup. In this movie, he's like, "Don't you just love Halloween?" He's got that deep voice. In the trailer, he like uses his normal voice in one scene, but in this, they just give him a kind of a deeper voice. It's like ID, not IV. He's like, shows him the idea. Sees this woman, makes her prettier for his friend or whatever, and sings the "Can't Take My Eyes Off You" song, and it's just irritating. This film has a lot of, I forgot to mention, it has a bunch of intense close-ups to your face. You're just too good to be true. A lot of intense close-ups in your face at the time. This film's up in your face with the bad acting, and he goes home and like, "Honey, I'm home," and then they do this. Tim wakes up forgetting what happened. Otis takes the mask, and he goes to work next day, and everybody's like, Tim, you were great. And I guess they knew because they showed his idea, but apparently they see that. I don't know how, because even his boss, played by Stephen Wright, doesn't even know. So, how do people know that it's Tim under this mask, which doesn't make any sense? Okay, how do we know that? But it's nitpicking, but then they're both like, Tim, maybe, and they're both like, I had that spark that I was looking for. Would you be willing to move up to the top? And he's like, yes. So, he wants to use more of the mask. And I forgot to mention that she tells him she's pregnant, and got the baby face thing going on, and they see it when go to the birth control and see the baby being born, what the baby's gonna be, and the baby's like Cuban Pete, which is an insult to Jim Carrey in my opinion, and the baby's born. Is like, I'm your dad. Baby cries. Albie grows up. You see him, and he has powers of the mask, so he like blows his face up like a balloon. Otis is jealous because he's not really getting love anymore. Otis took his room, so Otis spends his time being jealous. And when he's asked by his boss to take care of it, he's having to wake up early in the morning because the baby's crying, and this annoys Tim. He nearly grabs a piece of glass and almost gives the baby some glass from a nightlight, breaks the breaks the glass off it, and the baby screams, you know, and Tiny tells him she's gonna go to like work for a week or whatever. That she has to go to New York for a week. And he's like, no, honey, take him with you. He's like, no, you can do this. You just call Betty, she'll help you. He's like, honey, take him with you. First thing they do is that he assists with the baby. He talks about his work. Alvy farts. Yeah, there are fart jokes in here. And Alvy can somewhat understand him that he doesn't want to be with his kid, and Alvy somewhat dislikes him. He's like, yeah, you miss. He's like, and Alvy says, "Mama, Mama," and in the creepy way that we do this in the movie, that's you know, he's like, Alvy's like, "Mother," you know, but in the creepiest voice you ever heard a baby say. Oh yeah, it elotes Odin, by the way, who he's still Loki's just trying to find his mask. Like, where's my mask? He's like, Loki, what'd you do this for? Nothing. He's like, Dad, can't you love me for who I'm not? No, blah blah blah. And he's like, this didn't make me a dad, right? Baby's being born in the mask. He's like, well, how with the baby with the mask? They're like, find the baby and you will find the mask. Oh, so get to it. By the time he goes on the business trip, when he shows Albie cartoons, and Albie has this idea since he doesn't like Tim, he's watching the frog that sings "Hello, my baby, hello, my baby," and he's thinking it's mind to drive Tim crazy, which nearly starts to work. Tim's working one morning, and now he sings the song hello, my baby," you know, and it's intense close-ups, which is scare you to death. And he runs. to Betty saying, "There's a problem." He was doing something. I mean, Jamie Kennedy, you're just so off in this movie. It's just the writing and the story and the script. The way his acting is terrible in the film. I can't leave the film. He's so annoying. It's most like Jamie Kennedy would have ended up being a mental patient after making this movie. He's trying to like say, "Albie, sing, Albie, sing," you know, but it doesn't work. And he gets scared of Albie, tries to give him juice to drink. Albie picks him up, throws him on the ground. Otis, by the way, who puts on the mask. Let's see, was there a picture of him wearing the mask? Yeah, not really, but it's kind of like this, and it's like it becomes like a Tom and Jerry cartoon where he's trying to get rid of the baby. Who tried to get Albie out of the way by blowing him up by having a baby rattle, but Albie notices this and begins to blow himself up by making noise with his mouth, and does the same thing to the dog. And then you get a scene in the movie where you hear the song going on. He's planning what he's doing to the baby, planning to get rid of the baby so he'll be a hero and he'll be loved by Tim and Tanya again. Doesn't work, and the baby put these kind of like Home Alone traps, which fails because the baby puts the hook on him. And it's just mayhem going on, and you know. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention also Otis is wearing the mask during the day, which you can't do because Loki's a night god. You're only supposed to put the mask on at night, so why is he wearing the mask during the day? That doesn't make no sense. So stupid. I guess so that they can have this whole movie be a half in the middle of the movie be a Tom and Jerry cartoon. Loki is also looking for the mask. He's okay. I'll admit, I hate to admit it. One that made me chuckle is when he gets this one with that made me laugh. When he sucks her up in a vacuum cleaner and he looks like, you little ugly thing. I thought that was a little funny. That made me chuckle. I hate to say it. Yeah. Then he tries to find another baby. Doesn't work. He does find Alvy. Well, he thinks he does. He tries to make Albie do these tricks. Pretends to be a UPS man. He's like, "Oh, it's your package," and it's just a punching glove. Punches him out. Lloyd gets out, and he, marks the list down. He's like, "I'm taking 2 extras, buddy." He does the extra thing. That's just creepy. Yeah, like I said, this movie would definitely scare children. He throws up, and the car's like, "My son's the devil. My son's the devil." He walks up into in French City. It's not Ed City. It's French City. A stupid name for a city. And Loki's like, "Give me my mask back. I want my mask back." Where is it? And he's like, "You're gonna get tough." He's gonna attack him in the alley, but Odin possesses the body of Tim, takes away his powers. He knocks him out, and Tanya calls about all this mayhem going on because she calls him about the problem. Before Tim went to the city, he's like, "Albie's great. Albie saved me." And they try to have this special bond, sweetheart moment of them bonding together, him giving them a bath and hugging on each other. Oh, you know. But that doesn't work. These heartfelt moments that they try to do doesn't work in this movie. This movie can have heartfelt moments with good music and stuff between Stanley and Tina that works. Or when he had to say to Milo, "Find yourself another pet dog. Another pet, another place, a new place to live. Looks like I won't be here a long time." That whole scene is very sad to watch. That is almost sad. That was sad to watch for me. Yeah, that movie did better when it had emotion with the music score and everything. Yeah, this movie tries to force it, and Loki eventually sneaks into Albie's room, is able to do this calling, whatever spiritual calling to summon Odin, and Odin gives him like an hour to get the mask back. He's like, "Don't fail me again," and he gives him his powers back, and he tells Tim, by having a cartoon falling on his butt, this is, if you ever see this little guy again, so have the mask in the alley. And Tanya comes over, attacks Tanya because Loki pretended to be her. And there's a scene where he said he's the freaking god of missions, but I think Like Jim Carrey did in the first movie. He was about to say the F word. Fucking got a mischief. Yeah, they do cut that out of the movie. That line out of the movie. So they try to go find the baby. Uh, Loki and Albie, he's like, you can do these powers. So they, do like a western. They play Super Twister. The parents show up, and he's like, okay, we got the mask. I can just get the baby. But he's like, I got attached, and Otis bites him in the nuts. Loki in the nuts because they convince Loki. I mean, Otis takes the mask to run away, go be with his other poodle he wants to be with, whatever. Shares the case like he's gonna be your son. He's gonna to grow up with. He takes the mask off. They go find it in this random scene where he bites him in the nuts. His eyes go up all the way to the earth. Tim, the mask comes on him. He's like, honey, okay, give me my son. No, runs away. That's the second time he wears the mask. He's like, honey, let's get our new ride. He's like, I know, kids, I'm just kidding. And Loki makes the road look cartoonish, up and down, like some monster trucks or something like that. But terrible CGI. They get into a fight in the boxing ring. He's like, Tim, they every loser, and they fight. It's like, and he punches him. Loki punches him in the punches Tim in the mask. I mean, uh, Tim jumps up and he farts in his face. Yeah, stupid fart joke. You can't get me if you're locked in the trunk, and not to mention, and again, just terrible makeup. And he's like, say hello to my little friend. Tries to copy the scene with Jim Carrey, which is better done, by the way. And he creates these flowers, and Tim has the mask creates this, you know, eraser because Loki turns to the pin. Here's Loki. He's like, wait, we're evenly matched. Let the baby decide. And now he's about to go to Loki because Loki can promise to have fun all the time. But noticing that he needs to get Abby's love, Tim takes the mask off and says, no more power, just that. I love you. I love you. You know, I'll let you grow me, grow up, blah, blah, blah. And he goes to him, and this upsets um, Loki. Loki goes his monster form, tries to kill them, nearly succeeds till his time runs out. Odin comes down from the throne and calls him a failure, is about to hit him. And Tim gets involved and says, wait a minute, you're still father, son, yada, 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 get along. Here's the mask, gives him the mask. And they're happy. He's like, can you pass things up, mom? And they go back up to Asgard or whatever, back home or whatever. And then Tim goes to the boss that he's made this cartoon up called Siblings, whatever. That the dog and the baby are fighting for dad's attention because of the cartoon, and the way this cartoon looks in CGI was terrible. This animation company in this movie sucked. And they said, and about Tanya's pregnant again. It's like little brother or sister, and then you know, oh, Ivy looks at the camera, winks, then close up, and then you have Otis in his mask form just saying the end and cutting up the end credits or whatever, and then that's the end of the movie. That's some of the mask. Let me give my final opinion on this film. Bottom line, this movie sucks. It's terrible. It is awful. Okay, first of all, why? Because number one, you can't beat Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey is an A-list actor, an A-list comedian, one of the best comedians ever. Because 1994 was a big year for him. This was Ace Ventura Detective, of course, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber. That was a huge hit. That made Jim Carrey a huge star. And I watched Man on the Moon yesterday. He was great in that. Just to get off topic, Jim Carrey's done dramatic films. He's done other comedies. Jim Carrey is brilliant. Sonic the Hedgehog 3, I bet you he'll still be funny. He'll still be funny like he is in this movie and Sonic 3 than anything in this movie. I've heard people complaining about him playing the old main character of, I forget the character, Dr. Robotnik, like the Grandpa Robotnik, whatever. That's better looking makeup than anything in this film. This film has a better story, special effects, a good story, good characters, a great cast. Yeah, and for its running time, 97 minutes, it works. Great villain, great special effects. This film has none about. First of all, the movie has a shitty story. Yeah, you try to throw a family in there. It tries to be have these family moments. You know, honestly, it's just awful. Um, First of all, the story sucks. I didn't like the whole thing that a baby had to be wearing the mask. I don't know how that's possible. That didn't make any sense. I don't think that is like it from the comics or anything. Maybe it is. I don't know, but it really makes no sense here. It's just stupid. You didn't need Loki in here. You didn't need Uncommon. You didn't need Loki or Odin in here. You don't need these Norse mythology characters in here. You don't need, you know, and it's just stupid humor. It feels like a Tom and Jerry cartoon with all this ridiculous and close up and craziness. Maybe I'm just going crazy. Maybe I'm just going crazy. It's just a crazy, bizarre, scary movie almost. Yeah, this movie would scare your children. It's like a horror movie in a way, but the one that would give your children nightmares. Like the beginning with the baby having fangs, right in your face. With all these close ups, that are creepy. And everyone's just acting. And Jamie Kennedy's giving a crappy performance. He's just, you know, giving an awful performance. I don't know. It seems like he's high most of this movie. Like I said, he looks like a mental patient. Loki, you know, and Alan Cumming is just irritating as Loki, annoying. He's so, you know, oh yeah, he becomes a CGI being in one scene. Find out the list of babies, but the CGI is terrible. The story just sucks. I don't care about the story. I don't care about these characters at all. I mean, I like dogs. I like Otis, but making Otis this mask character, turning him to the mask, it's again, even yeah, Milo does wear the mask at the climax of the movie, but that's cool. It doesn't look creepy to me. It looks adorable. It's great CGI. And when this dog wears a mask, when Otis wears a mask, it looks terrible, freaky, and it doesn't work. It's scary. Are they aiming this movie toward children? You know, there's even a sex joke in here where Tony says, "I'll go make a baby with the neighbor." Is this movie for children? Apparently, it's not for children because it looked like it were frightened kids. Like they're frightening kids and stuff. Yeah, I didn't care about Tim Avery. Jamie Kennedy's a terrible lead. He can't lead this movie. I'm sorry. He can be good in any movie he's in. Malibu's Appointment, he's fine. He's good in that. But he's not a lead. He's not a man leading lead for a film. You know, and his performance is just terrible. The directing, Lawrence Gutterman did a terrible job. I don't. Yeah, he's only done this in Cat and Dogs. Yeah, he only did two movies: a short film called Headless, and two movies, feature films that was Cat and Dogs and this. Yeah, I can see why because he cannot direct a movie. He didn't know what he was doing. The writing, the guy who wrote this did a terrible job. The cinematography is ugly. I hate to look cinematography. French City. French City looks like an awful city to live in, especially at nighttime. It's terrible. And when he's singing, and terrible makeup, CGI is awful, complete terrible. This movie is like you know, this would give your kids nightmares. The editing is just awful. You know, you did three editors for this movie. The editing is just, you know, doesn't. I don't know. The editing is just bizarre and just badly CGI that's added in there. Iron Lemmy did terrible. Randy Elman, okay, some of the music score, I'll admit, I do like Chaz of the music score, but that still doesn't make it a good movie. Still doesn't save the movie in the running time. 86 minutes, 94 minutes. Yeah, I'm glad they cut the time out of the movie because it would have been over 2 hours long. Oh my god, 2 hours of this would make you brain dead. But it's a terrible movie. Yeah, it's a film. I'm glad I never saw this in theaters when it came out. Thank God. I didn't go to the movies that much because I was busy with school anyway at the time. Yeah, which sucked, but it would have been even more suckier if I saw this movie in theaters. And this film is terrible. Terrible acting and terrible makeup effects. Look at that. It's just awful. This movie's not so bad because this movie is just bad, bad, terrible, awful. bottom of the barrel. It's one of the worst movies ever made, one of the worst superhero films ever made, if you want to call it that. I think it's only based on comic books. It is, but it's an embarrassment of a movie, and people involved in this movie, I'm sure it killed a lot of their careers. Have probably are dead in the water because of this movie, and a lot of them probably want to go do on terrible movies that were not good, or have maybe done better stuff. I don't know, but I bet this affected a lot of the careers. Jamie Kennedy, I'm sure it did. Now I don't really hate Jamie Kennedy. Like I said, I loved him in this first Scream 2 movie. He's good in that. He's really good. I like him in this film. He's really good, you know, as Randy in those movies, and he works well with Wes Craven, you know, and he's good in Malibu's Most Wanted. But in this movie, this just killed his career. I'm glad Jack Black didn't do this movie or the other actor. That, so yeah, if those other actors would have done it, it would have killed their career. You know, yeah, you can't make a sequel to The Mask. You can't make a sequel to this movie without Jim Carrey. It's like Ace Ventura. Ace Ventura, of course. They needed Jim Carrey to make that movie, and that's the same thing with The Mask. If you're gonna have The Mask to have a sequel to this, you gotta have Jim Carrey. Without Jim Carrey, the film is a no go. But of course, this is Hollywood. Hollywood sees that it was a big hit, so they want a sequel. New Line Cinema, they didn't care about Jim Carrey. He was still making movies at the time. I think he did Fun with Dick and Jane that came out this year. But Jim Carrey was not gonna waste his time on this movie, and good reason. But of course, they greenlit it anyway, and they said, "Yeah, let's make this movie." And they wasted a lot of time and money doing a film like this. So, it's the second installment of the franchise. And no, it's not a franchise. The only sequel you get to The Mask, I'm sure the true sequel to this, is probably the anime series. I've never seen that, but you know what? In the comments down below, if you've seen that anime series, tell me. It's probably a better sequel than this because it actually tried to be a good movie. The sequel did, yes. From 2000, from 1994. It was a better way movie. And The Mask didn't need a sequel. If you want to do that, you need to have Jim Carrey, and Cameron Diaz, or Amy Yashbak. That would have somewhere. I'll take that. I would take that. You know, because she was great in The Mask, despite her betraying Stanley. I could see them doing something with that afterwards. You know, but at least we have The Mask animators. Sadly, because of this, well, and I think The Mask himself, Jim Carrey's character, I don't think, maybe that was Jim Carrey. I don't know. That was part in Space Jam Legacy, but Space Jam Legacy seemed like a crappy movie too. I never want to see that movie. Don't care to see it. You know, honestly, we're probably never gonna get a good standalone sequel thanks to this movie and how awful it is. It's boring. It's terrible. It's awful. It's scary movie. It's creepy. It doesn't work in any way. You know, it's not very subtle. The humor, comedy doesn't work. It's not funny. This is torture to watch. You know, yeah, it's one of the worst movies ever made. It just gave me exploding headache. Just with the acting and the close-ups and everything, and just Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. I'm sure the second movie is more fun to watch than this. The new Beetlejuice movie. I want to see that definitely. And the original Beetlejuice. Yeah, some movies are wild bizarre like Beetlejuice, like the original film, but those films work because they don't overdo it. This film, I think, overdid it. You know, you know, it goes 100 times, a million times crazy, and it does it in the worst way ever. Because they thought this film was going to be great, you know. But no, it didn't make any money, and I can see why. I don't, I feel sorry for people who, yeah, I don't blame Richard Rover for wanting to walk out of the movie. I feel sorry for him that he had to sit through this, and Roger Ebert, if they actually went to the movie theater to see this movie, wasted their money and time. It was, for Larry Roger Ebert. I'm sorry if he had to go through this. They wasted 86 minutes of their life seeing this piece of crap. But this is a film I'll never watch again. Just stick with this mask. Stick with the mask with Jim Carrey. Stick with this. This is the better movie. This is 30-year-old. They're a 30-year-old movie now turned 30. Happy 30th anniversary to The Mask. A better film. A better movie. That's why I bring it up because it's a better film. But anyway, guys, from The Mask, I'm gonna give this a thumbs down. Am I rating for this film? Even though I kind of like Randy Ellis music, I'm not gonna. No, that won't slide with me. My rating for this film is my worst rating I ever give a movie. That stinks. That's one of the worst films. Bottom of the barrel. One of the worst movies ever made. This is, and that is, I'm gonna rate this film 0 out of 5 stars. One of the worst movies ever made. A movie I'll never watch again in my life. Yeah, yeah. Son of the Mask is terrible. awful movie. Thumbs down for Son of the Mask. So tell me in the comments down below, what do you guys think of Son of the Mask? I'm sure most of you agree with me that it is a shitty film. If you like the movie, okay, why? I don't understand why. You better explain that to me, please. Please explain to me if you why you like this movie. Elaborate on that, would you? Because I don't understand why. If you like it, that's cool, fine. I mean, don't understand why. You know, okay, more power to you. But I would never understand what's to like about the film. But that's just me. So anyway, guys, tell me in the comments down below. My rating for the film, once again, for Son of the Mask, I'm gonna give it 0 to 5 stars, which is the worst rating I say for a movie. That's when it's for me, the movie's a stinker. It's when I hate the film, hate it, hate it, hated, hated this movie. Awful film. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of Son of the Mask. What do you think of Son of the Mask, in your opinion? Bye bye. Thanks for watching. Bye. Oh, have a good night. Bye bye. Or good day, wherever you. Bye bye. Thanks for watching.